FG.
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 171 of the What's the Play podcast. I'm here with Big Jon, co-host. What's up, Big Jon?
What's up, FG?
And we have our wonderful guest here tonight. We have Nick Moons, 3PO. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
It's great to have you here.
It's good to have you here tonight. So welcome to the show. To let everybody know. So, yes, I came across Nick through Instagram and whatnot, and love this content. WWE fan, AEW fan as well, right?
Yes,
collector,
yeah, we enjoy all things wrestling over here.
Content creator.
All right.
Around WWE, so we want to get him on and talk to him. But Moon, you prefer Moon or Nick? Which one do you prefer?
You can call me either or. Moon's
All right.
3PO is this is my content name. We want to go by Nick either or, whatever floats your boat.
Let's go with 3PO. I like that because Star Wars,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So tell us about yourself, 3PO.
Yeah, no, again, thank you guys for having me. Yeah, you can find all my content at Moon3PO. I'm over on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, like you mentioned there, whatnot. But yeah, I'm just a wrestling content creator. I do things talking everything wrestling from the PLE, so what's going on, and taking a little bit step further within the wrestling hobby. As you know, Big Jon, obviously it's very niche, very small. So, if I can have any input into as far as of growth or as this hobby is slowly growing with wrestling, because I think wrestling fans and cards are some of the more passionate. So when you put those two together, I think it just stems well. So, if I'm able to bring, some sort of knowledge into it. So yeah, I've been making content for about 1.5 years now. And yeah, just having fun with it, rolling with it.
Nice. So one thing when we become wrestling fans, like being a lifelong wrestling fan, like I've been watching wrestling with my late grandmother since I was born. It's one thing like we connected on outside of just everyday stuff. We watching Raw, we watching WCW Nitro, we're going to the UIC Pavilion and watching shows. So I've always been a WWE fan. And even to later in life as an adult, we call and talk. You call and talk to your parents, and we talked about wrestling. It wasn't what's going on, everyday stuff, and venting. It was like we just talked wrestling, and everything felt better in the world.
Yeah.
After the conversation. But so I've been to shows, and I know wrestling fans buy all the merch. Right, every wrestler's got a merch table. If you go to indie shows, from the action figures and thing, I never knew there were cards until the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I was FD. The moment wrestling fans who spend hundreds of dollars on belts and multiple belts realize they can spend, $50 on good cards, the wrestling hobby is going to take off because the ability to throw money to collectibles in WWE is just different.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So yeah, I was talking to FD a little bit before you came on. Obviously I'm a baseball fan as well, so I would collect, and I still do from time to time. Dabble into baseball cards primarily, a little bit of NBA here and there, but I really don't excel in the NBA market too much. So it's primarily baseball. And I went to a card show, and I'm pretty sure you can speak to that further, Big Jon. Like when you go to a card show, there's not a lot of wrestling vendors out there. No. So I went to a card show when I was getting back into cards, and there was one vendor. He had some soccer, and he had primarily wrestling cards. And I was, obviously I watch wrestling. And so I was kind of just going through the cards, and this before I was selling and have the collection that I do now. And I was just talking to him like, hey, like what is it with wrestling cards? And like, what are you seeing? And yeah, he kind of sold me the same thing. And it's kind of what I speak on now is like wrestling has some of the more passionate fans, and like these people nowadays are spending, like I think I saw today WrestleMania packages dropped, and like I think it's like $40,000 for first row, and people are willing to drop that money because they want to be part of that experience. And what gets you connected to that experience, or in this case here to superstar and or athlete, it's a piece of cardboard. So I feel like when people realize that there's a market for it, and if you're in it for just primarily collecting, or you're in it to make a little bit of cash, whatever the case may be, I think wrestling is one of the more smaller niche products that, hasn't really been touched yet. And once it does, and we're kind of slowly seeing it, it's bound to take off.
Yeah, I see it all the time. Like people still want Hulk Hogan cards. They want The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, right? And it's wonderful. So how long have you been collecting cards? Like, well, when did you get back into the hobby?
Yeah, so I have the same cliche story as almost everybody. I started buying baseball cards. My dad would take me to go buy baseball cards every weekend when I saw him. I played baseball when I was younger and up into college. So yeah, I would just collect baseball cards. Still have my binder from my childhood, where I have baseball cards. So was just doing that for a while, even throughout like high school. I would just buy, a blaster box here and there. Hobby, if I can afford it. When I started working, I would, fork out a little bit extra money to get a hobby box here and there. Kind of stopped in between, and then kind of like I was mentioning there, COVID kind of grew that a little bit more just because we were home. There's really nothing for us to do. So what are we doing when we're home? We're just going through, stuff that we have. And that's when I found, my cards again. So started doing that. And then obviously that's when, ironically enough, everything just started booming. Like Pokemon cards started going up again. Baseball card. Obviously I didn't have like the greatest or most expensive cards, but kind of seeing there was a market for it. So I just kind of grew from there. Started primarily with baseball. Now it's transitioned to wrestling. So it's been about since 2021, 2022 that, I've been dabbling into this. But I've always collected things. If it's baseball cards, you see the figures behind me, comic books. I've always collected different things throughout time.
So who's your baseball team?
I'm a Boston Red Sox fan right now. So that's why if you saw me looking to the site earlier, they're in the middle of the postseason run right now. They have the wild card spot right now. They just beat the Blue Jays 4-1. So that's a dub. But yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan. You kind of cut off there depending on how you can see it, but I have some Red Sox cards back there. I have a Rafael. I'm a Pedroia fan, so that's my main PC when it comes to baseball. But yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan.
What's the link to Boston? Like, how did that start? You've been a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, so I was telling you, I'm from Texas, so it's kind of a little bit far. So yeah, I got into baseball. Obviously, I was young when 04 happened to come back from the Yankees, so I really don't remember that. But I remember I have a really close relationship with my brother. He's the one I do some of my content with over from my podcast. So, we're around each other all the time. So I got into baseball around like 2007, 2008 era. And that's where the Red Sox were kind of in the middle of their run, right? 2007, they sweep the Rockies. 2008, they go back to the ALCS. They come back to the down against the Rays. They eventually lose that series, but kind of seeing all those guys there, Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Kevin Youkilis. I gravitated towards Dustin Pedroia because I played second base when I was younger. So, and I even wore 15 like him. So I wasn't the smallest guy. I'm still not the biggest guy, but that's who I gravitated towards. So that was like my player growing up. So ever since then, I was like, yeah, I'm hooked. So that's how I became a Red Sox fan.
I get it. Red Sox are, they were lovable losers. Then they started winning and got too big for their bitches. But
exactly, we haven't been winning right now. But
you would see them in the playoffs and be like, oh, they're going to lose. To you think they're going to win almost every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, it's being in Connecticut, the Boston love for the Red Sox over here is different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I try to make it a trip.
Young kids are playing every
right?
Year. You didn't think that Devers trade would make sense in the short term. I knew it was good in the long run to give the kid because you had the blockage and he was just a malcontent. But to see them, gel together and start winning and still go through the struggles, but still win and have a good chance to make the playoffs is good to see.
Yeah, I was indifferent on the Devers trade. Yeah, I was indifferent on the Devers trade at first. Obviously, I loved Rafael Devers. I followed his come up here. I like looking at baseball prospects and things like that. I mean, being the diehard fan that I am, so I'm always like following these guys here. So knowing Rafael Devers signed when he was 16 out of the Dominican Republic, he's somebody that you just follow. So I grew up watching his career. So yeah, I was a little bit indifferent on. Obviously, I know that contract wasn't very easy for the Red Sox to kind of handle. Obviously they gave him a lot of money, but compared to other contracts, it's still, I think it's kind of like cheap compared to like the Juan Soto's, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. contract now.
For his bat, it's definitely cheap.
Yeah, for his bat. Yeah, it wasn't the best defensive third baseman. I'll give you that. The inability or, refusing to go to first base, but then goes to go play first base within a week with the Giants kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But yeah, I can see why they did it, but at the same time, I'm like, like now the Red Sox are offensive struggling, so we need that bat. It's what we're missing. I
get it though. I get it from his perspective, right? I'm just star player of the team. You don't talk to me about bringing in another third baseman. Then you tell me to leave my glove at home. You're DH. Yeah. Oh, now come play first base. Like, I can see the. So my problem with my problem with the Red Sox is you let Mookie go. You let a generation talent Mookie go for nothing, and then out of the three, then you trade Bogarts, and then now 2 years later you trade Endeavor. So every couple of years, your top guy you trade.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you 100%. Yeah, and that's what I stem down to it. Like the fact that we traded him, and I say we, I mean the Red Sox, but the fact that we traded him, that's because you couldn't talk to him. Like if you're just open with him, like, hey, we want to bring Alex Bregman in. Obviously, he has connections to Alex Cora. We want to bring Bregman in to play third. Obviously show him like the metrics, like, hey, this is where you lack, this is where he's better at. If we just have that communication with him, I think he's still here. But like kind of like you mentioned, that they told him, hey, throw your glove away. We're not going to need you. But obviously that changes because it wasn't a thing where, the Red Sox were struggling or first base was struggling. Like Tristan Casas blew out his ACL. So it wasn't a case where like Casas is struggling and we send him down to AAA and like, hey, we need you to play first base. It's a guy gets hurt. And I think as a team player, you kind of with the money you're making as well, kind of try to do what's best for the team. But no, I agree with you 100%. It's you told him one thing and they tell him the other. So yeah, I can see where it came from. And yeah, the Mookie Betts trade, I hate that to the I have no words for that trade. I absolutely hated that trade.
Yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, Devers, you got to be a professional and not be a baby, right? Exactly. I can that to Scottie Pippen sitting out the last play because the play wasn't called for him. Like you're just being a baby. Let's go and try to win together.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. To this day, I don't think he's ever came out and said like what his issue was. I know he had his issues or called out Craig Breslow, which I don't think that helped him out very much. Didn't even refer to him as his first name or his last name. He just called him, the GM. Like, I think he has a problem with me. And so I don't think that helped. I still think it's weird because like Alex Cora is known for his communication. Like that's the thing. Like you hear a lot of players talk about with him. It's like, he's very open with me. He tells me a lot of things. He lets me know what's going on. So I still think that part was a little bit weird, but yeah, I agree. I think Devers, should have been the team player. But again, I see it from his perspective. Like, hey, they told me I didn't need to do this, and now you're asking me. I ain't gonna do it.
So what's up? We got Hero 3 in the chat. Let's roll. We got Zerny. What's up, Zerny? A couple people rolling in here.
What's up, Zerny?
So, now with baseball, you say you got a collection. Are you prospect? Are you in like Bowman, or are you just getting your guys?
It's a little bit of both. It's changed over the years. Obviously Bowman is where back a couple of months ago or like a year ago, is where I was making a little bit of my money, to fund different things, to fund other cards. So yeah, like Bowman Chrome just came out. Haven't really dug too deep into the checklist right now. Just obviously I've just been like nose deep into wrestling right now. So obviously being smart with my funds. So yeah, I prospect a little bit. I had a couple of collection of Jack Caglione, who's obviously one of the top prospects for the Royals. When he got called up, flipped those right away to fund some other things. Nick Kurtz for the I was going to say Oakland A's, but they're not the Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's, if you want to call them that. So he's been, AL Rookie of the Year, going to be probably an MVP, next couple of years or so. So yeah, I do a little bit of prospecting for as long as I can. And then obviously I have my guys here that I collect. So like I mentioned, my main PC is Dustin Pedroia. That's my guy. And I'll dabble into a few baseball players that I like. Had a couple of Otanis, Ortizes, things like that.
So you said a couple of things that we echo a lot here. Using your collection to fund your collection. Like I tell everybody, like baseball prospecting is the hardest thing to do, but also the easiest thing to put away and see what happens to if you're prospecting. Because you can, that $5 card now, who was Cal Raleigh?
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
$5 auto.
Yeah.
Right? Now you got a first Bowman, base Cal Raleigh. You in hundreds of dollars, ungraded for Cal Raleigh card. So
yeah, that's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a perfect. I think there's a story too on Fanatics. I think they just put one out. I think last week, I think a woman bought a superfractor. It was his rookie card, not his Bowman, but I bought his superfractor, I think, for $300, and they graded it, and now it's up to like, I think I golden auction, it's up on a bid like over thousands of dollars. So yeah, like rookie cards, first Bowmans, you find a cheap one. Even it's not even the autos too, like the chrome refractors, like the Jack Caglione I had. Like I bought it for $3, graded it with PSA, got a 10, and flipped it for 180 when he got his call up. Like it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I've had my misses. Don't get me wrong. I've had my misses for sure. But I mean, if you can, spend a little bit of time, if you have an hour or two, go to Baseball America, Baseball Prospects, and just kind of just see, who's who. You can find cheap cards for $2-3. Even like the Dominican guys or the international guys, you can find them cheap because they're young kids. They're 16, 17. They're not going to be MLB superstars in a year's time. So you buy somebody, put them away in a binder, top load it, store it away, and check back to see in a year, a couple of months, see if they've ranked up a little bit.
But that's the going, right? It's not easy, but it's also doesn't have to be a lot of money. It doesn't have to be thousands and thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars in that. You could, $2, buy $2 out of here, $2 out of there, $2, and actually, you got a good roll of cards you can put away for a couple of years. Like I know now, I go through my cards. I'm a dollar box guy at shows, so every quarter I dollar box at home. I just go through, what do I have? What do I don't remember that I have? And this was before I started setting up the shows. I just go through and see and pull out, oh, he's hot. I found a red out of 25 crochet rookie. I was like, oh, that's a $25 card now. I got it for $1. Let me pull this out, right? And with baseball, you find that you can't do that with NFL or basketball. You can't pull out a JJ McCarthy dollar card doesn't turn into a $30 card in 6 months. It's still going to be $1, maybe $2. Then he gets injured, and then what do you know?
Well, I live through the dollar box. Well, that's what I do, man. Like I live through the dollar boxes, the value bins. Like I'm not going to card sales spending. You see these videos, people spending, $5,000-$10,000, and that's all by me. If you could do that, by all means, go ahead and do that. But for me, I love living through the value boxes, finding your $5 cards, putting a bundle together, kind of storing it away, or if you could, find a good deal, put it on eBay, get some extra money, and go buy something else that you like. That's what I live with. So that's what I love about like those dollar bins, those value boxes, those dollar prospects. You can buy it, store it away, and it can be $1 can turn to $10. And I always like to tell people too, like profit's profit. If it's $9, $5, $2, whatever it is, like that's extra money that you didn't have in your pocket that could fund something else.
And one thing I see when bring to WWE, because what I say back in February I decided just to focus down on WWE. So our main thing so one thing we do, we yearly talk about what are our plans, what are our goals. I'm almost even like to a quarterly, like what are our goals for the next 3 months in this. And I was like, I'm just focusing on WWE. I know it. I know the names. It's only about 30 names that are really big to make money off of. And Montez Ford is my PC. So my PC is cheap.
Yeah.
I can pick up autos for $30, $40, graded cards for $50-$60, in tens. We're not talking about PSA 9s out of 25. So PSA 10, tie-dye 25, $60. That's an easy collection to grow. Unlike, trying to find the rocks. Are there any Grail cards that you hope to get when it comes to like WWE, or who's your WWE PC?
Yeah, so my WWE PC right now, it's always going to be CM Punk. CM Punk's my guy. If you ever listen to my podcast, shameless plug, collecting the 1, 2, 3, go check it out. That's my ride or die. Like where that guy, people talk about him, they can whatever. You're never gonna hear one bad word come out of me about CM Punk. So CM Punk is one of my PCs. He's been my main. I'm also a big Bray Wyatt fan. So like the Wyatt family, the Wyatt Six, actually met Bray Wyatt at Comic-Con. So I have that connection to him and all that. So Bray Wyatt, and then a new addition to my PC right now has been Johnny Gargano. A little bit on the cheaper side, a little bit like Montez. So those right now I would say are my big 3 PC. As far as a Grail card, I would love to pull. I know it hasn't came out yet, but Topps Finest, there's the Masters. I'm a big Finest guy when it comes to baseball. So obviously Finest coming back in 2025 for WWE, which drops on Friday. There's the CM Punk with the best in the world inscription. I would love to have that card in my collection one day. It's going to be pricey, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if there's ever the opportunity to have that card or pull it, hey, I would absolutely love that card.
I know earlier you both were talking about buying cards and putting them away. I feel like you hear less and less people talking about that now in the hobby, and that's the way I came into the hobby. You buy stuff and put it away. Why do you think we don't hear more talk of that? You usually hear buy, flip, buy, flip, buy, flip.
I think we live in a world, or we're in a hobby right now where people just love that instant gratification, where they don't want to wait. And by all means, yeah, I get that. Like I know I don't know too much about football, but I see it like those especially right now during the weeks. I don't follow it too much, but I see it online. Like those cards can go up and down, up and down. I think people just love that instant gratification where you go to a card show, you buy it for $50, and then after 1 week, if a quarterback has a good game, it's $150 and they flip it right away. I think some people just and again, there's a market for it. I get it. But for me, I think within this hobby, like there comes a little bit of patience. Granted, there is holding on to something too long, and that's happened to me before. I'm a victim of that. But yeah, I just think people just love that instant gratification and seeing those funds. eBay card sold for $200 or $300, whatever it is. I think people just like seeing that, and it's like a dopamine, I guess, where people just want to start doing it even more and things like that. So I think that's where we kind of see that happening, and I think that's why we really don't hear the buy it, put it away, and see what it does in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a year from now.
Yeah, I get it.
Dopamine is one. I also think time value of money, right? If I hold it for a year and it only goes up $5, but I can sell it today and I'm going to make a $3 profit, I can do some more of that $3 that I could do with holding it. So, especially, and it all depends, right? Nobody's buying superstars and legends and great like that, right? Everybody's kind of, even basketball prospecting, it's all about the rookie class and all the other sports. That's that's one reason I went to WWE, because in WWE, rookie cards are good, but they don't have that. They don't mean that much, right? You got a rookie card of CM Punk, great. I got to do CM Punk 2 out of 10, and it's still going to sell for comparable prices, right? I got a Rock card from 2022, still going to sell for comparable prices to his rookie card. There's not a high escalator or multiplier for rookie cards as it is for in other sports. Like
yeah. With wrestling too, I think the wrestling rookie card is always an interesting convo, because you're gonna hear different people say like, well, what's the true rookie card? There's some superstars who do have the true rookie cards. We see them now with the RC badges, but in wrestling, it's always very, it can go back and forth. Like CM Punk's rookie card, if you want to call it like first on print, is a TNA card. I think it's a 2003. Like John Cena is a 2002 Fleer. So I mean, there's always going to be the what's a true rookie card, because those cards don't have the RC badges. So yeah, I think with wrestling, it's always very interesting. I think it takes like a true collector to know what is a rookie card, what isn't a rookie card, especially with wrestling, because again, now they have them, but some of the rookie cards do lack the RC badges. So it's hard for a more casual fan to know, like, oh, that's Roman Reigns rookie card, or that's John Cena's rookie card. It takes a collector or someone who's really deep into the space to know, like, oh, that's John Cena's first card on print, things like that.
I will tell you, I am John Cena rookie card is going to be the biggest card I buy this year. I am looking for that in a good price. I want it either raw or low grade before it. So John Cena's an all-time favorite wrestler. I'm Fruity Pebbles, everything. I'm a John Cena guy. CM Punk, love CM Punk, AJ Styles, Undertaker. Like, I'm for it all. And as the WWE gets hotter, you see their global expansions, whether you agree with them, taking WrestleMania to Saudi or doing so many shows overseas, like they're going to Australia. or not, they are TKO is globalizing the WWE, right? It's connected to everybody. You got the deals on Netflix. Whether you like or not it being on ESPN, that's a bigger network with more reach.
True.
As much as I like USA Network, Netflix has more reach.
Yeah, it's easier now. It's easier now too. Like
easier.
you go through. I don't know the numbers or data, so someone will have to like confirm it for me. Like, what's the household out of like who has cable and who has Netflix? I'm pretty sure the data would show more people have Netflix and not have cable anymore. We're in a streaming world now. Everything is streamed now. That's why they don't even call pay-per-view. They used to call them pay-per-views. They're not called pay-per-view. They're called premium live events because they're live on streaming. So that's what I was saying back in January too, or when they announced this Netflix deal, is that there's going to be more eyeballs on wrestling in general, because you scrolling through Netflix, you see this Raw on Monday, like, oh, I haven't watched Raw in years, let's put it on. They have the documentary, the WWE Unreal. Some people some people just like watching sports documentaries and just want to watch it. So you may not know a lick about wrestling, but you can watch a WWE Unreal product or a documentary, and then that you come speaking on that documentary, like they highlight, Rhea Ripley. And that's just one example of somebody, let's say somebody likes Rhea Ripley now, like, oh, I'm going to go watch her on Mondays now. So it obviously works like that too. AEW is on HBO Max. Not everybody has TBS or TNT, so it's easier to stream. Like, that's how I watch AEW. Like, I don't even watch AEW on cable. Netflix, I mean, for SmackDown, I use a VPN to watch it on Netflix. It's easier for me. I don't have cable, so it's easier for me to watch everything like that. So yeah, I agree 100%. I think the streaming services being on ESPN, it's making more wrestling accessible to everybody. ESPN is a little bit pricey. You got to pay $30 if you want to watch the PLE, unfortunately. But I mean, it's if you can fork it out and you can want to watch it, you can.
How frustrating was that on Saturday Wrestling Palooza? Was it frustrating for you trying to watch it as it was for me? Now,
so
it
was weird. Yeah, go ahead.
I have Disney Plus bundle. Always had all three. ESPN, Hulu, always had everything, just because if I'm not watching Star Wars, Marvel, I'm watching sports. So it's just made sense to have all three. Hulu, I can give or take. Like, I'll watch Tulsa King. Other than that, I'm not overly on Hulu. So I'm like, okay, I should be able to. I don't nothing to worry about in my mind. I already pay for all three. Go to watch WrestlePalooza, you can't watch it. What do you mean? Go and do research.
It was weird.
Oh, you gotta pay the $8 extra for the $29.99 bundle because your grandfather into the $21.99 bundle. It doesn't come with this. It doesn't come with the wrestling.
That's how they work you up.
Yeah, no, it was weird for me because I have the same bundles. I watch my Disney Plus stuff. I watch my Marvel, my Star Wars stuff too. Hulu, I just have to have. My wife uses it and watches it. So I was like, all right, yeah, it'll be easy. So I went to the ESPN app to watch it on my phone for a little bit or see, because they were doing the pre-shows on there, and it wasn't letting me watch it. So I was like, oh, that's weird. And then, I ran to the same issue, but it was weird because then I went on Disney Plus and then watch, because you can watch it from Disney Plus if you just click on the ad or the little graphic that they showed, and it worked. So I don't know. It was really weird. I think I wasn't the only one. Obviously, you had the issue as well. I think a lot of people on the internet had the same issue as well. So yeah, they didn't do a good job explaining it. Obviously, because it was supposed to be next year. So I think they were, hoping, to have the time to promote it and say how it's going to work. But they literally had 3 weeks, a month to do it, and I don't think they were even ready for it. And I think a lot of people ran to the same issues.
And the other issue was that it was also supposed to be free if you had Xfinity, and I have Xfinity, and I still couldn't watch it. I was just like, this is totally making me upset now. But I wanted to see, so I ended up missing the John Cena match, and I think I texted you with the EO and Stephanie McCare match. That match was amazing.
Yeah,
I will say the difference to me is the cameras, the quality of camera.
Yeah,
the ESP cameras they had, they were. I think I can see the UFD. The quality of camera was just so much better than what they had on Peacock. Like, it was just much clearer.
And they wanted to do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was like the John Cena match. You didn't miss anything. That match, in my eyes, was pretty bad. But yeah, no, like the production value. They brought back pyro. They did some new camera shots. Like I can't remember. I think it was the EO and Cedric Kerr match when they were hitting the ropes. They had the camera on top of the turnbuckle there, so that was new. Unless I'm oblivious, I haven't seen it yet on Netflix or something, or just miss it. But yeah, no, the production value was good. I had no issues like system wise lagging. I think I had like one issue. But other than that, like sometimes with Peacock, like you would, if you come in late, you have to start all the way from the beginning and roll forward with it. I know some people joined in and they were able to go in right in live. So yeah, I think production value they killed it. I'm pretty sure ESPN and WWE are investing a lot of money into that. Was the card itself was a different story, but yeah, I think production value. I think they overall did kill it.
And I think if that's your first time in a while or first time ever watching WWE was on ESPN, just checking out. If you watch most of the show, I think you came away with that. Stephanie McMahon is a star. Jey Uso is a star. And then you found the CM Punk and all that. They gave Jey Uso 15 minutes for an intro.
Yeah.
If that doesn't scream, hey, this guy's important. 15-minute intro. That screams important to me. Like, oh, he's somebody I should be looking at. And the way they focused on Stephanie in that match, that was good. I could care less about the Cody Drew match. I didn't even watch it, to be in all fairness. It was the one thing I love about wrestling is the storylines, right? Especially in WWE. You don't have to be the best in-ring wrestler or worker to be able to tell a story that anybody can watch. Like, FD's not a big wrestling guy, but he knows the names. If you just watch it for a moment, you're like, okay, I understand why they got beef. So, but the beef between Cody and Drew didn't make as much sense to me as I would have liked it to in that short build.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, if there's some takeaways to take out of that, PLE is obviously, they have plans for Lesnar. What those plans are, I don't know. Obviously, John Cena's on his retirement tour. He's done in December. So that's one takeaway there. Yeah, Stephanie McMahon is a star by all means. They're gonna put a rocket on her back if they haven't already and take her to the moon as further as she can, which obviously always means her cards are going to increase in value. EO's still going to be a star as well. I'm not worried about EO. She put on a tremendous show. The CM Punk and AJ Lee match was a lot of fun. I know some people were kind of criticizing that match. I enjoyed it a lot. Again, maybe I'm a little bit biased just because I am a CM Punk and AJ Lee fan, but it was a lot of fun. I think you got to give your flowers to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch as well. They kind of protected her, did everything they could. So, and that build was phenomenal. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, the Cody and Drew was kind of a little bit lackluster. I was kind of in the camp. I like Cody a lot. I was one of the Cody crybabies back in WrestleMania 40 when that happened. But I would have loved to have seen maybe Drew get a little bit of a run. I think he deserves it.
He deserves it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was again a fine PLE. But yeah, I think the takeaways are there is like Cody's still, they reference him as the quarterback. He's still going to be your guy. And yeah, it was okay.
I mean, it's what's the end game, right? And sadly, most of my thinking is, depending on where they're going, it's who the people like in that area. So, like, if they're going to Australia, and I have no doubt in my mind, people want to see Cody more than they want to see Drew in Australia.
Exactly.
Again, CM Punk AJ match with Becky, great match. I loved it. They got 28 minutes.
Yeah.
When has anybody got 28 minutes on a PLE lately? Right? So this formula of having 5 matches gives people time to actually work and tell stories. With John Cena retiring, right, what do you think that does for his cards in December? Do we see more hit the market? Do we see the value up? Or on some of this current stuff, what do you think?
So his market is interesting. I'm a sucker for data. I love just looking at numbers, what's moving, what's not moving. So like if you go on Card Ladder and type in John Cena cards, mine is from a few autos. Like his stuff really hasn't really taken off yet. I think in December when he does eventually retire, I think we will see a little bit of an uptick. There obviously there's a lot of good super short prints out there right now that are coming out for Topps and Finest. There's the Celebrating Cena cards, the Celebrating Cena autographs. I think those cards will be primarily, one of the bigger chases moving forward. And obviously, like we talked about with Topps and Fanatics, like they have access to so much material now that Panini just didn't have. So like collecting, Topps, they did the Topps now, like the WrestleMania mat. Like I think those are going to be something like, who doesn't want to collect John Cena's last match at WrestleMania, have a piece of that mat, things like that. I think we'll see a lot of like John Cena relics. I think going to be the bigger things to move that connect a little bit more towards like their retirement tour. Like for example, too, I know they had the SummerSlam patches that they're putting on 1/1 cards that was on his towel. Like that's going to be an insane chase as well. So I think what I think we'll see from John Cena is we'll see a lot more autographs and relics move that have a little bit closer connection to the retirement tour. I still think the parallels will still do well, but I think it's going to be more of the relics that people are going to gravitate toward once he is eventually retired at the end of December.
Okay. I agree. I think it's just going to go up later. Just because when he's not there and you miss him again, you want to have a piece of him, right?
Yeah.
Because the next time we should see Cena, it should be a Hall of Fame announcement, right? You should really see him.
How does that work in wrestling? How long do you have to be retired to go into the Hall of Fame?
There's no rhyme or reason behind it. It's who they want to put in. It's no rhyme or reason, right? But there's some people haven't waited long. Like Triple H didn't wait long after he retired officially. Undertaker didn't wait long after he retired. There's some people we putting you in next year. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they announce, John Cena for 2027 Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia. That would probably be the one thing that people would not hate on if they announce him then for 2027.
I got you.
Yeah, there's no like. I think even like Shawn Michaels, I think got inducted to the Hall of Fame like a year after he retired. So yeah, there's really not a criteria for it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him, especially because I know he's talked about he's gone in December. I think he said that he's gonna be like an ambassador and things like that. So I'll be curious to see how they do that. Like randomly during WrestlePalooza, they inducted Stephanie McMahon to the next year's Hall of Fame, which we're still usually they don't do that until like April, like closer to WrestleMania. So the fact that they announced it so far ahead or so far away, like there's really no criteria. They just pick who they pick, and if you're in, you're in. You're not, you're not.
I mean, that was a good moment though.
Toby said,
"Yeah, it was." Yeah,
with all the billions they're making, they need to make the WWE Hall of Fame an actual place.
They should. I doubt it. The last actual place they had was with the WWE restaurant they had in Times Square, and that didn't do too well. I think they like having things like they do now when they go to Saudi, where they have basically a moving touring museum where they just bring all the stuff. So have you ever been to like a WrestleMania before, Nick?
So I have never been to WrestleMania, but I've been to the Royal Rumble. So that's what I was gonna say. Like typically what they do is they won't have a venue that has like the plaques and all that, but what they do for the bigger PLEs like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series is they'll have like a superstore or like a kind of like a memento museum. So when Royal Rumble rolled into my town in 21, they have like a lot of like match used gear, relics, things like that. So like I remember seeing like the Macho Man gear. They have like some Hulk Hogan stuff. So I think that's their way of dabbling into like the MLB Hall of Fame or like the NBA Hall of Fame, things like that, where you want to go and celebrate those superstars, those legends. You can go to those events and kind of see what they have in store or displayed for those superstars.
Yeah, so I went to WrestleMania in Atlanta, Miz versus John Cena, and that's what they had. You can go into the superstore, see all the memorabilia, see all the moments. Even had video package playing some of the highlights going on back then. So I think they'll rather have that because wrestling fans are not making a vacation to go to the WWE Hall of Fame. Like I know people that literally, if they're coming to the Massachusetts area, they're trying to make sure they go to the NBA Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame, and see that. They're going through Ohio. Can we get to Cooperstown? And see that. Nobody's doing that to just come to WWE for like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think, and it kind of circles back to what I was kind of mentioning in the beginning of our conversation was like wrestling is still like so small and still so niche. Like I think if they were to build something like that, it'd be like in Cooperstown or things like that. Like I don't think they'll see a lot of feet going there because like I know like me personally, like I wouldn't build a vacation. I would love it, but I don't know if my wife would love building a vacation going to a WWE Hall of Fame. So yeah, I don't think they'll ever do that. I think they'll still just continue on with like the superstores and having that displayed for you. So if you want to go see it, you can. And while you're at it, go see the event. So obviously it gets more money for them as well.
Yeah. So Toby was at SummerSlam in New York and Jersey, basically. And it was what he had on his Instagram was awesome. So definitely another big WWE collector. And going to the shows. That's one thing you don't get. Like if you think Fanatic Specs gives you access to actually see superstars, WWE events, you get to see them. You get to talk to them going beforehand, going to the meet and greets. Like it's not just being pushed through. Like they take time, especially if you have younger kids with you. Like they will take their time with younger kids and be nice and ingratiate them and sign autographs and do stuff. And you don't get that with Fanatic Specs. You don't get that at the National. This weekend, Bubba Ray and Devon at the show this weekend. Mm-hmm. And even after the show's about over, Devon just sitting at his table talking and waving to people as they go by. He was on the phone. I came by, said hi, nice to meet you, and kind of go be respectful of his time because he was on the phone. But everybody walked past, he was still waving at him, talking to him. So like you don't just get that from regular athletes.
Well, what do you think the difference is? You think it's different characteristics of fans, or why do you think wrestlers are more accessible?
In the beginning of your wrestling career, that's how you make your money, right? Mm-hmm. You don't make your money wrestling. You may get a hot dog as payment as an indie show, but selling your merch at a table, having fans is how you actually make your money from that show. It's the fans coming in, spending money for your autographs, spending money for T-shirts and stuff you're selling. So it's kind of like, the longer you've been in the game, especially before you came to WWE, the more the more you just kind of do this naturally. It's like, I'm not rich beyond where I thought I could be without fans.
Just don't try to. I think it's one of the more interesting, like wrestling fan or wrestling superstars in general. I think like you mentioned there, they make a lot of their money from their fans, and I think so. Like doing like the WrestleCons, obviously when there's a big wrestling event like it would be like when they do like WrestleMania or SummerSlam, like a lot of the smaller indie scenes, like they'll go and do events around that area just because that's where a lot of these wrestling fans just gravitate towards. So there'll be an indie wrestler who maybe not be on WWE's radar, but could be on the WWE's main roster in a couple of years, give or take. That's where you see a lot of the guys now, like all the guys on WWE, like that's where they made their money, like Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens. Like they talk about it where they would have t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, and that's how they made their money because ROH wasn't paying that much, things like that. So yeah, I just think wrestling fans are, again, like one of the more passionate fans, and they're going to support who they gravitate towards, and not only supporting them, they're supporting their favorite guy or women, whoever it is. So yeah.
Oh, well, it's definitely the women that run, especially when it comes to the sports cards. It is the current women who are the highest sought out the cards, like Rhea Ripley, Stephanie McQuarrie, Julia, Becky Lynch. Their cards sell more than all the men, and a lot of your top men, like Seth Rollins is probably number 2, and he doesn't sell more than freaking Natalia. and he's amazing in the ring. He's amazing on a mic, but he's not a seller in the hobby. But if Io Sky and these women wrestlers, their cards are easiest thing to move. I was at the show I was at this weekend. They had 5 wrestling tables, which is about 250 table show to have 5 people who had dedicated wrestling and was wrestling. It was good to see. And one guy's like, yeah, said the guy came in the morning and spent $7,000 on EO cards.
Yeah. I went to I was at a show this weekend, and there was actually one more wrestling vendor, so we went from 1 to 2. So we're moving over here in my area, and he had like a 70 recur section, and that section was like slim pickings. There was like maybe one Tops Now card, and he asked me, "Did you go to the 70 recur stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, that was the tab that I went through." Like some guy like went in and bought all the 70 recur cards. But yeah, like I think I would have to, like, somebody would have to fact check me, but I think there's like sales from Tiffany Stratton that are greater than Stone Cold cards. Like that's insane.
Yes.
Like I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but like that's like insane that Tiffany Stratton, don't get me wrong, a superstar in not in the making, is already a superstar, like selling more than someone who I think without him, like we're not having this conversation today. So yeah, it's crazy to think about when you really look at it.
Interesting. We got some comments here I want to catch up on, make sure I don't miss.
Start with Zerny.
Yeah, Zerny. That's wild though. All in the history in wrestling, not to have the actual Hall of Fame. I think I never thought about this. I never thought about it.
So here's the thing about all this history. With the rest have with Tops, they have access to all that stuff to do all types of crazy relics, all types of crazy cards to go with it. Like I think you had a video a couple weeks ago, like you hoping they come up with a stadium version of Tops, and like that would be amazing to get some in-action stadium club cards. Like right now, what I'm seeing on the market is that Select is by far the best product that is out. I don't know if you see the same thing, but every table I go to, even when I'm looking up sales, select. When you're looking at gem rate data, select ring sides, it doesn't matter. Those are what's selling, even over the new Topps Chrome and Cactus Jack. Like, and Select is one of my favorite WWE brands. The quality of the pictures looked amazing, and I think the only thing that can come to that is Stadium Club. If you're not familiar, are you familiar with like Stadium Club?
Oh yeah,
the photography in that. Yeah. So it's basically what Topps Now, but not Series 1, but the full picture. So no borders, and it's just the full image on like a 4K picture instead of a 2K.
Yeah, very nice. I think D Number Chaser and Toby were exchanging something about a comment that Toby made. Wrestling is more personal to his fans, is what Zerny is saying, what you all were talking about. Dom Mysterio is #1 right now.
So Dom Mysterio is amazing. His character, technically he's a 20-year vet.
Technically, yeah.
He's first on TV and he's like, what, 8?
8 years old, so, yeah, on his PSP, but, when they're in the legal custody with Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. But I mean, he might be Eddie's kid. Just that boy does not look like Ray at all.
No. The mullet, the mustache, the height. Like if you would compare them side by side, yeah, it's a general person. They're probably gonna say Eddie Guerrero. That's his dad, and not Rey Mysterio.
But the thing with all of them, from Vicky.
Go ahead, Big Jon.
But the thing with that family, like from Vicky Guerrero, Dom, they all know how to get heat and get massive heat easily. It's not easy, and heat is to make people not like you. FD, just an insider term. When you have heat, you're getting booed, and you're getting booed because they don't like you legitimately, not because you just did a bad act. I was at a Raw in Charleston, South Carolina, and Vicky Guerrero started the show, and I believe for 20 minutes she couldn't get one word out. She couldn't even get her excuse me out. We were born for 20 minutes straight on live TV. So, and that's when you have a crowd and they're invested in you, because to hate you that much, but they're gonna boo you for 10 minutes straight.
Yeah,
is crazy. But I mean, I've looked at Dom cards. I still don't see anything in the 5-figure range selling but
Yeah.
he's very. I think the younger collectors like Dom and are looking for his cards more than anybody.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that, we were talking about earlier, the kind of the ones you buy and maybe store away a little bit. He's kind of he kind of rolls into that area a little bit because, yeah, like you mentioned there, hasn't had big sales. But obviously right now I'm being the double champion, being the AAA mega champion, the IC champion. Obviously that helps his market a little bit. And yeah, like you talked about, like typically in sports, when you're getting booed, that's a bad thing. But in wrestling, when you're getting booed, that means you're getting a reaction. That means that people are somewhat gravitating towards you or they have a reaction to you. So that's a good thing. But yeah, he's one of those guys for me where on the Whatnot stream, he moves pretty easily. Because obviously, like you mentioned, a lot of young people do like his cards, and I think he has some good looking cards there in Cactus Jack as well. So yeah, his market kind of falls into the ones where you buy and maybe store away and see what he does in a year if he becomes a WWE champion. Or I know the rumor right now is a program maybe with John Cena. Like, does that help his market a little bit? So he's one of those guys where you kind of just wait and see.
Toby says, I wish they would have kept AJ Lee return more of a secret. If they did, the crowd would have exploded when she came out.
I think there's no way you could have kept that a secret, in my opinion. Like when they whole build up with Becky slapping him and things like that, like there was no other women or other person to come out and help him. Like I know people were kind of throwing out Rhea or Bailey to help him, but like his own wife coming back, I think that was, you couldn't keep that a secret. I think even regardless of people knowing that she was coming back, I still think that pop was top 5, top 10 pops, maybe potentially. Obviously, it helped they're also in Chicago, but I think you get that pop anywhere if you're in New York or my area or wherever else. Like I still think she gets that big of a pop. She's just that popular.
If they would have tried to do a red herring or swerve and put Rhea or something like that, it would just totally would have killed whatever momentum they would have had.
Yep.
Because everybody knew this is AJ. This man's wife put her hands on him. Any man with a wife or girlfriend knows. Honey, tag in. Right? This is your fight now. I can't hit her, but honey, this is your fight. Let's do this. So
then we got Hero 3 saying, I think they did Lee correct. She might not have been remembered if she just came out. It might have been a smaller pop. Might have.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, because she was gone for 10 plus years, and it's like she mentioned in her first promo, like she did such a good job of like reintroducing herself for the people who may not know who she was. Like, luckily for me and for Big Jon, people who just watch wrestling, for years and years and years. Like, obviously, we know who AJ Lee is, but there might be somebody kind of we were talking about earlier where someone just maybe just turned on Netflix for the first time and started watching wrestling, but doesn't know who AJ Lee is. So I think they did it well, showed how important she is, why she's important. And the promo that she cut on Raw when she came back was like letting people know like who she is and things like that. So yeah, no, I think that was the most like perfect return in my opinion.
Even more thing, like when she was on ESPN and asked her, because she's from Chicago, what she thought about Caleb Williams. She's like, "Is that a sports person? I don't know what it is. I'm a nerd. I know about comic books. Like, you're not to the click, baby. I'm gonna." And that's another thing about WWE. They're so media trained, right? When they're under contract with WWE, they're media trained. You don't really see any of them saying anything, putting up they shouldn't do until they're no longer under contract. Then you have the Matt Riddles and the Bubba Rays talking crazy, but while they're on the contract, they are so media trained to say generally the right thing to all questions, right? Or they're just not talking.
Yeah, I think a good example.
Do you think other sports take their people through? There's going to be a microphone in your hand, and there's going to be some questions that like almost set you up. How do you answer those?
No,
seems like
Boston does. The Red Sox do. It's been well known that they, obviously Boston being like a very heavy, sports media market, sports radio, Boston sports radio. Like it's been on record that they take they take their players through like media training classes, like how to answer questions or things like that. Like it was red hot in spring training with going back to Tristan Cassis. Like Tristan Cassis was like saying like, no, like Rafael Devers is my third baseman. and like, oh, he thinks that Bregman should be at second, and like they like supposedly the rumor is that they took him through and like had to like retrain him again. And but yeah, no, I from what I've heard, like I can't speak on other sports markets. Obviously, I don't follow them as closely as the Red Sox do, but from what I heard, that they do take them through like media training and like this is how to answer this question and this is what you should say, things like that. So yeah.
I mean, but they also in WWE go through promo classes in NXT where they learn to talk in a mic and develop their character. And a lot of people stay in kayfabe for the most part of it. But the reason why you have The Rock, Batista, John Cena able to do so well on even Roman Reigns and Cody, do so well in movies is because they know how to read a script and follow a script, and they know how to improv and win the improv off that script. And they're used to, hey, we're shooting my scene at this time, be here. Like they're professional in they're wrestlers, and we know wrestling is scripted, but they're professional actors and they're professional. There's no reason in my mind why they shouldn't be part of SAG. Because you're on TV, you should be part of the Screen Out Together, in my opinion. But that transition is a lot easier for them than most people.
Yeah, no, like I think I don't know if everybody's like knows like James Gunn, who writes and directed Peacemaker, like he's talked about how easy it's been for like to work with John Cena because obviously John Cena being who he is, like gets a script, reads it, and goes out and does it. So like James Gunn's talked about that with Peacemaker. You know, now we're seeing other superstars evolve into more acting roles. Like CM Punk has a couple of horror films. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are in Street Fighter. So like, yeah, I think it's I don't want to say it's easy, but it's definitely easier than like an average person to transition to that kind of market and type of media, just because they're kind of trained in doing that. And like you mentioned, they're Big Jon, like they play a character, so it's kind of a little bit easier to kind of flip a switch, like, oh, I got to be this character now and transition to this role or movie or whatever that they're doing.
So, I know we talked a lot about wrestling and collecting cards. One thing I want to talk to you about is content, right? One thing I'm very impressed with is your daily content. It's almost whether it's 15 minutes short on TikTok or a live podcast or just a 2-3 minute story post. How do you stay consistent in delivering? And it's not like, for you guys know, right? It's not like he's putting up a post. He's in his chair, he's with his microphone, he's talking and giving information or giving his opinion about whatever topic he's talking about every single time. So how do you stay consistent with the ideas and to do that?
Yeah, first off, appreciate you noticing that. Yeah, I do post daily. If it's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like I feel like if I'm not posting something, someone else is, and that's just the way my brain works. Like I feel like if I don't get a video out for a day, it may be bad, but like I feel like I'm just like falling behind. Like so yeah, like the way I just work is I usually throughout the day or the beginning of the week, like I'm a planner. Like I plan things ahead of time and schedule. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing this on this day. This video's coming out this day. Obviously my content revolves around wrestling. So like this week, for example, like Monday, like I know Topps does out their weekly schedule of releases. Okay, I know Top Finance coming out. Boom, that's a video on Monday. Tuesday, I'm pretty sure a checklist is going to come out, which it did. Boom, that's another video. Wednesday, I'm doing my podcast. Thursday is a YouTube video. So I just, try to plan out everything here. Obviously, again, it revolves around wrestling. So what's a big thing that's happening around wrestling? Okay, what's a card that sold because of it? So yeah, for me, like I just try to stay consistent as possible. And I know a lot of my followers, it primarily is on TikTok. Like I get some messages here, which is still kind of crazy to me because I don't see myself as a content creator, or I like to think myself as a content creator, but I'll get some messages from people like, hey, like your video helped me find this card, or like your video helped me do this and do that. So I would say that's also a motivation for me to get a video out because somebody might not know Topps Finance drops on Friday and they get that content from me. So I think that kind of helps me, motivates me to get a content or at least a video out almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Now, do you do your own editing or you want to
take... Yeah, it's all me. Everything you see is all me. My editing, my posting, obviously it's just me. Obviously, like I mentioned, I do my podcast with my brother, but obviously I love my brother, but I bring him on to help me to do this stuff. and he does his own little content here and there, not as much as because he's way busier than me. But yeah, like it's me, like it's my phone, my camera, my lighting, my setup here. I do all my cuts, my edits, my uploads, my hashtags, me promoting myself, promoting the podcast, distributing the podcast to other platform. Like, yeah, it's all me.
Man, you do a good job of it. So with having that, you have background in like editing and digital? Like, is this just something you're just picking up, going through and learning as you go?
Learning as I go. I started picking up making more content like in 2022, 23 is when I started diving more into content creation. So I always like to say, like, you learn from other people. So I would like, I'm like on my phone or like I'm watching other content creators. So like Card Collector 2, who's the guy from the Sports Card Pro, not Sports Card Pro, who's his name? Jeff Wilson. I'm probably butchering. Jeff Wilson, yeah. So like watching their videos, how they edit, how they do things. So like, and try to put that towards what I make. But yeah, no, I'm all self-learn. I have no background in graphic design, editing, things like that. So I do everything on my own, and I just learn on my own. My wife has a little bit of a background in it, so she does help me out a little bit when it comes to like, I ask her for her opinion. I'm like, hey, how did this thumbnail look, or how did this title sound? So she does have a little bit of, she's an art teacher, so she has a little bit more of a background in that. So I go to her a little bit when it comes to like designing my logos, my name, things like that. So she does help me out a little bit on that aspect. But yeah, everything else is all self-taught.
Yeah, I'm looking at your thumbnails. Your thumbnails are very cool. Very nice.
So FD does a lot. Oh, FD does all our editing or whatever he puts out. He does it all first. I just repost. I am, even on my YouTube, I am one shot, one take, and I try to put it together through a couple of apps. But you get me raw. You get me raw and uncut every time.
Nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have that than 15 takes. There's nothing wrong with
that. And sometimes that's what people like. Some people just like the raw, like some people don't like the multiple cuts here and there. And I've learned that too. Like some people just like a sit down video. That's why like I was tipping my cap off to you guys when we were getting on. Like, this is a live stream. Like we're live. Like you can't cut this, you can't edit this, you can't edit what I say or what you guys say. I do my podcast pre-recorded. So if I say something stupid or something happens, I can cut it and make myself sound good. But yeah, no, some people like that stuff, and there is an audience for it.
Yeah, true.
So then how do you balance? I'm gonna assume that you're not full-time in the hobby, full-time. How you balance work-life balance with family time and doing this?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, I work a corporate job. I'm corporate America, so I'm a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. So that's where sometimes the scheduling is important. Just because I like to I have this video pre-recorded. I'm gonna release it this day. Yeah, obviously, I love my wife. She knows what I do and things like that. So she understands it all. She's involved in it too. So she, understands it a little bit. But yeah, I have my videos pre-recorded. When I know my video's out and I promote it, like I'm done with it. Like I'm not consistently checking the views and things like that. Like I let it roll. And then when I come home from work, like usually I don't make too much content when I come out of work. If there's something that I need to make a video on, I will. But yeah, when I come home from work, it's during this time or when we're laying down, we'll have time to watch a TV show. We still have our time together. I don't have kids, so I guess I don't know if that's a benefit or not. So I don't have any kids. It's just me, my wife, and my cat. So it's a little bit easier on that to do it. And again, she's involved in it as well, so she helps me out from time to time. So and she gets it too. I love my wife. She's my biggest fan. I'm her biggest fan. So yeah.
So there's my question was like whatnot, right? What made you want to sell your cards online, and why did you choose whatnot as a platform?
Yeah, no, so I still sell on eBay. I still sell from here and there. But there was like a period on eBay where I don't know what happened with my account or my profile. I really don't know. But they kind of put me like on I make a joke with it, but I said they put me like in purgatory because like my listings, I couldn't promote any of my listings. Cards weren't selling, and I was just selling on a bunch of inventory. And like we talked about earlier, like I used the hobby to fund the hobby. So, and I used my funds to pay extra bills or whatever the case may be, something a little bit higher than usual. Like I can do that with that. But eBay, for whatever reason, cards were not moving. I was like, well, I'm seeing a lot of inventory. I've always been hesitant on Whatnot just because I know I don't have the biggest audience in the world. I recognize that, but I think I've always been hesitant on Whatnot. Like there's a lot that kind of goes into it. There's another content creator that I follow. Really, really good content. Clever Cuban Cards. I'm pretty sure you guys may know who he is. He does primarily on Whatnot. And he kind of like his content kind of helped me get started with it. Like you just got to start. And I always like to tell people that, you know, who maybe are dabbling into it. Like you just got to start somewhere. So did my first stream. Didn't make a lot of money. I have a YouTube video on it because I like to just be as open as possible. Like I made like 30-40 bucks, I think, on my first stream. But again, the way I see it is like that's 30-40 bucks that I didn't have. And I moved cards. Like I moved it all. I gained some followers. Like, and I think it's a good way to connect with people. Some people have that, you know, negativity towards Whatnot, and it's warranted. Don't get me wrong. But like just people that I talk to now, like I connected with you over on Whatnot. Like, you know, we talk more on it now. You know, you've came in hanging out on the streams. You know, there's a lot more people that I talk to now because of it. And I think it's cool. Like it's again goes back to live streaming. It's like it's live, it's raw. You can't cut and edit it. What's said is said, and I think that's what really helped start it all.
Is that what's said is said, and people say some stupid thing. I'll tell you, like the backyard breaks thing. Listen, I stopped buying and going on Whatnot, and I'm not a big buyer, you know, on anything just because again I use the hobby to fund the hobby. So if I haven't sold anything on eBay, you know, then I probably don't have it in my budget to buy anything this week, which is fine because I'm sitting on so many cards, it doesn't matter. But so with that, I stopped. But I have people like you see Denomination Jordan, you know, he's a good friend that I met on, you know, that I go and I sit there and I support. There's other channels that I like to just sit and watch. And I've had so much trouble with Fanatics Collects and Fanatics, their site was trying to just log into my account that I just given up on even going to break on there. Even though there's breakers that I love, like Mama Breaks and Sports Card Nonsense. Those breakers I broke with on Whatnot or when they're on eBay that I love, but they're now on Fanatics Collect and I can't get my account straight. And I'm just done with it. I'm not even trying anymore with it. So I'm still sticking to Whatnot, and you know, there's things like Drip It, like Dip did, and Loop, but I'm not on Loop as much. It's just something I don't get why I don't like it. There's no pretty reason why I don't like Loop. It's just there's no rhyme or reason. So,
I don't hear a lot of people talking about Loop anymore.
People don't talk about.
Yeah, I personally don't even use Loop. I've tried it a couple of times. It just wasn't for me. I don't know if it's a platform issue or like a me issue, but yeah, I just never really gravitated towards that app like Whatnot and or like Fanatics Live.
There's two. You know, we've had what's Max thing. We've had on Matt Car Collector. We've had him on. He's on Loop. Or was that? No, not Mac, his partner. I'm drawing a blank because I put myself on the spot. It's from LA. I can't remember. It comes to me in a moment.
I don't know Mac Car Collector, so I don't know who his partner is.
We've had somebody on Loop One before. I'll find it. But I'm a type of person where I find your content at is where I get your content. Like, so if I find you on Spotify, I'm pretty much only listening to you on Spotify, even though you have a YouTube. I'm really not going to watch you on YouTube. If I found you on YouTube and you're on Spotify, I'm not going to Spotify to listen to you. I'm just watching you on YouTube. And I guess it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense the way my brain works. That you can
there's people like that. Yeah, no, there's definitely people like that. And I see it too. Like there's some people who watch me on YouTube and they don't, you know, watch on TikTok or vice versa. Like they'll watch on TikTok primarily and they won't watch YouTube because some people like the 30 to 60 second, you know, format. Or luckily, I've been lucky enough to have some people come over from TikTok, go over to Whatnot, and vice versa. But yeah, no, there's definitely people like that who, you know, if you find them on one platform, like go strictly stay on that one platform. So no, it's definitely, it's true for me too. Like if I find somebody on TikTok, like there's podcasters that I like watch and follow, but I'm not going on YouTube or putting their podcast on when I'm driving to work. Like I'll just catch a couple of clips here and there, and that's mainly it.
It almost seems like there's a demographic difference between YouTube, TikTok. Like that's seems like a totally different world.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I don't know if
Like
it's
obviously
age or
TikTok.
what it is.
Yeah, I think it's primarily age thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we're gonna see, a teen or early 20s, watching YouTube shorts. They're gonna be on TikTok.
True.
I've tried to increase my YouTube shorts because obviously there's a lot of things that can happen with TikTok. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to dive deep into that. It can go away any minute. We saw that at the beginning of the year, so I was like, oh, I got to start making stuff on YouTube Shorts. I've always made YouTube videos, but not the YouTube Shorts. Yeah. Same thing with Instagram, like trying to grow that platform as well. So, yeah, there's definitely different demographics on every platform. I think as a content creator, is kind of knowing and how to distribute your content and where to put put where and where.
Stock and trade. It was stock and trade. Sorry, I was bugging me until I find stock and trade we had on these on that. Sorry, that was going to bug me until I figured it out. Because I do love his content. So I
want to help you. I want to help you.
It's okay. I was going to put it together somehow.
Jordan,
thank you, Jordan.
Jordan had you.
Again, the beauty of doing it live, right?
Exactly. There you go. So you can't cut that. There you go.
So like one thing, my goal is to try everything in the hobby, right? So like 2 weeks from now, I'm doing my second show ever, right? And 2 years ago, I didn't think about doing a show. Like everything at the beginning of the year, I'm just knocking things out of my list of what I want to do in the hobby, and then also what I want to do as like from a car collecting spot. There's two separate things, but I'm knocking it all out. And so like the next thing is to where do I live sell that? And I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to take that leap into whatnot and just do it and see how it goes? Which, knowing me, because I'm fearless, I'm probably going to end up doing it. But it's just when. And it's that moral.
Yeah. The best advice. Yeah. The best advice that I would give, obviously, again, I've had, about 10 shows, give or take, and have been on Whatnot for the last like 2 months now, month and a half or so. But if there's any advice that I would give, is like, yeah, man, just do it. Like, I think you're never gonna know until you try it. And I was like, everybody's gonna say that it's cliche. I get it. Like, but for me, like, I remember my first show. I remember I had scheduled it. I even promoted it. I was worried about like everything absolutely going wrong. I remember I had like anxiety going on, and because like before I went on, I was like, damn, like I think I'm gonna cancel. Like I think I'm gonna just reschedule and like move it further down and do something else or figure something else out. But yeah, it turned out it's worked well for me. I enjoy it. Like we're kind of talking about, yes, there's some bad apples over on the platform, but I think there's a few good people on that platform.
Yeah,
Clever Cuban Cards being one of them. There's a few of them that I like on there as well. But yeah, if there's some sort of advice that I would give to anybody listening to this, or like to yourself, even myself too, like I would say, like, man, just go for it. Like we were kind of talking about, like that's, if you sell one card for $20 or you move 20 cards for $200, like that's money like you didn't have, and that's can go and fund different things. You connect with people, and it's connected me with a lot of different people and it can help grow your content as well. And yeah, I'd say just go for it.
That's what I say too. Yeah.
I mean, I'll go for it. Like I don't get that much anxiety with doing things, because especially in the hobby, I'm not counting on the money from the hobby for anything personal.
Yeah.
And although, like, I get over my shyness really quickly once I'm on. I do sales by trade. That's what I do. So I get over the shyness real quick and just go into let's sell this stuff. What's up? What's going on? Talking. My wife's like, no, in no world that you are shy. I'm like, yeah, that's a word that, but you just know me, so you can deal with the quirkiness of it, And
yeah, my wife says the same thing. Yeah. And I put myself in a position where like this is not make or die for me. Like I'm not looking to sell a card for $100. I need to pay whatever I need to pay, or I need to pay this card. Like there's extra money that I just have, and it funds different things. It's funded some vacations, it's funded some unexpected bills, unexpected expenses. So like, that's what I said. Like, this is not like make or die for me. Granted, have I taken my losses on Whatnot? For sure. Has there a card that's been sold for $2 when it's like a $10 card raw? For sure. But you're never going to see me on Whatnot complaining about that. you're never. There are some people who will. There's a lot of people
No.
who will, like, that's a $10 card and vice versa, when it's really not. Like, you're never gonna hear me say that, and like, it too, and I've talked about it. Like, that's why I pre-list all my superstars in my streams, because I try to give my audience, like, hey, this is a $1 card potentially, and it's listed for $1. Bid at your own expense. But I try to pre-list all my superstars to give the audience aware, like, this is who I have, this is the card, so you can do your research the day before, so you can do and bid smartly, or bid however you may like.
Yeah. My advice to anybody buying on any live platform is, before you buy from anybody, go in there and just watch a few streams and see how it goes. See if you would like, because it is community building, and that you're building a community. But like, I'm going the moment I hear somebody like, oh, it should have been this. This is I'm getting ranked over here, and now I'm getting whatever y'all taking advantage, and I'm turn next one.
Yep.
Like, because this is money for you. I understand, but if you want a certain amount for it, list it at a certain amount, and that's what I do on like on my eBay. If I want $100 for this card, I'm not running it at a dollar auction. I'm gonna put it buy now for $100 and see it go.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's just either. But my main philosophy is, I don't buy a card that I don't mind being stuck with.
Yeah.
So if I can't move it, I'm so happy to keep it in my collection. So that allows me to do it, though. Like, I don't have to risk something going on eBay for super low, because I don't have the biggest eBay. I want $100 for it. It's going up for $100. Nobody buys it. All right, I'll keep it for now. So, but y'all, I see it all the time on eBay. Things I think will only go for $1. Oh, $3-4. Like my Squishmallow cards, I've been selling for about $250 a card. So I was like, cool, that's cool.
Yeah, that's my wife collects those. So I was telling her, I was like, hey man, these cards move. She pulled a color blast of some random Squishmallow. I don't remember who it is. But yeah, man, those cards move. They move. There's a market for everything. But yeah, like, you're never gonna see me on my Whatnot stream saying, like, come on, chat, this is a $5 card and it's going for $2, or vice versa. Like, I know, like, for example, like, my last Whatnot stream, I had a Tiffany Stratton white refractor. I think comp for like anywhere from like $15-20. Like, obviously I'm not gonna run that as an auction at $1 and let it go for $1, because I know the value of it. So I had it in the background, and somebody came in the comments like, hey, like, run that card. I was like, no, like, I know what I want for it. If I want that price, I'll get that price. The things I run on Whatnot, like, I'm willing to, lose, or, if people want a bit higher than it, they're, again, more than welcome to. But the cards that I put on auction are like what they're worth and what I think they can be, and things in the background. Like, I'm never going to run a $100 card for a $5 bid and sudden death bid. Like, you're never going to see that on my streams.
Yeah. I mean, not until you get enough people in your room where it makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
You need Whatnot, you need people in the room to run bigger cards.
Yeah.
There's no reason to run a $100 card in a room of 10 people or 20 people or 30 people, right? But like, one of my favorite Whatnotters is Fear the Beard. He does just Bowman. And if you ever see him on there, he's running, and when stuff doesn't go as much, he says little things, but it's not as visceral as others. So I let it go. But he also gives huge deals once people start overbidding. So if something, he's got a $25 card and it's only like a $15 card, he'll start adding. He'll start adding cards while people are sudden death and still bidding up. So at least you're going to get your value of what you spend that way, right? So I've seen them recognize, oh, you overspend. Oh, we have $15. Hey, we'll add this one to it. Let's keep going. We'll add this one. We'll add this one. You get to 30, we'll add these two. And next thing you know, people are bidding up to $30, but they got 7 cards. So that one card they overpaying for. So you see different things, and I like that's a good way to do business, in my opinion, right? If you're going to complain with something goes over, something goes under, give more value when something goes over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm evident of that too. Like, I'll notice, like, if a card goes for a little more, like when I package up my cards here, like, I'll throw an extra, like if it's a refractor or if I have a number card here and I know, a certain buyer collects a certain wrestler, or they're buying somebody specifically, I'll throw in an extra card, 2 cards here and there, whatever I can to like bring up the value here. So making them come back, that's a big thing with Whatnot, right? Like you got to get them to come back. So making sure that you're just putting on a good show, giveaways, buyer appreciation. That's another thing that you can do. Or like, I haven't dabbled into that yet, but that's another thing that you could do as well. I know there's some like things you have to do with Whatnot with the buyer appreciation, like a work around it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But there's ways to reward those potentially who, may have bid on a dollar card that's maybe they bid $10 or 20, whatever they spent.
Jordan has a good rewards program in his Whatnot, and he also gives away dollars. Like my first giveaway with Jordan was I got a package, man. It was literally just $1 in there. I'm like, what? I want to give away $4. I was like, why? I just thought he was being funny, and it was like a Monopoly dollar, $D because what he calls them. I get to me, I'm like, did you really give me $1, bro? So you see fun things like that, and as you have you have the bad, but you do have a lot of good things, and a lot of things that are funny and unique and different from everybody else.
JC says, I sell on there. I do a lot of private shows on PPL, Zelle, or PayPal me for bigger cars. People with Zelle or PayPal me.
Yeah, I know some people do that too. They'll have a bigger card there displayed. I know sometimes a seller, so they don't, they can avoid the fees, the taxes, and all that kind of good stuff. They'll like, hey, shoot me a DM this year, and we'll work out a deal. I've seen that before a couple of times too. So yeah, it's another way to, again, get your content out there, get your bigger cars displayed, because obviously sometimes on eBay, like you mentioned, that your access may be a little bit restricted if you're, not, don't have the eBay seller badge, or can promote your listing. So kind of gives a good way to display on what you got, and again, get your personality out there a little bit more.
As I tell people, if we haven't done it, if you hit me up on Instagram and you see a card on my eBay that you want, and you either have to be willing to buy it at eBay for what we discussed, or buy it on Mercari for what we said. Because I think Mercari has the best protections for both sides. I don't know if you ever used it, but you put it on there, they buy it. They don't the buyer has to receive the card, acknowledge they receive it, acknowledge what it is, and then the seller gets paid.
Yeah.
And there's no refunds after that.
Yeah, I use it for buying. I personally haven't bought cards, but like I was mentioning here, my wife was like, during the COVID era, was like really big into Squishmallows. She still is. But that's where she would buy a lot of her Squishmallows from, like the more like expensive and rare ones. And it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. You buy it, the buyer has 3 days, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
3 days.
3 days to confirm the deal. And if it's not, confirmed or whatever, no error appeared, then the funds are released. It's kind of like Collects too. Collects is the same thing. You sell a card on Collects, the buyer has to receive the card, and then once they rate you and then they acknowledge the card, then your funds get released too. So it's kind of the same deal over on Collects as well.
Yeah, I think that is the best way to do some off eBay, off other platform deals, because I just think it protects both sides the best. I know you have things like where you can send it Veriswap, where you can send it to a third party. That's too much mailing going on for me. But so to a T-show, so I know you got a little bit of time. You got a hard time to get off. It's been after you got any other questions or chat. You have any questions for?
I'm just looking at my card. I was just over here. I'm getting the education.
There you go. You're earning my card.
It's been great having you here. I've learned a lot about the subject matter that you're talking about when it comes to wrestling and what's going on, Whatnot. I personally have never really been on Whatnot.
I just got them on Fanatics Collects to buy stuff. I'm working on them.
Yeah, he just got me on that. I had a bunch of questions. Like, how does this work? He got me on that. I'm still
the Fanatics Collect is interesting.
Yeah,
I'm still in 2002 on eBay. I mean, I just attack eBay.
It's Fanatics Collect. I am scoping for deals every week. Like I have a whole routine. Wednesday I go look.
You can find some really good stuff on Fanatics Collect. I think we were talking about it last week or a couple of days ago. Like, yeah, if you know how to use the platform, you know what you're looking for, you can find a lot of good deals on that platform.
I got a Liv Morgan rookie pristine 10 to 99 for $40 off there. From,
It's
crazy,
insane.
crazy good card, insane. Pristine CGC pristine 10, pop one. I'm like, yeah, this is coming home to me.
Hero 3 has a question. Moon, who are you collecting and who are you flipping?
When it comes to wrestling, who I'm collecting right now, my CM Punk, that is my guy. That is who primarily that I'm collecting. Flipping and wrestling interesting because sometimes kind of we're talking about there's not that really that instant gratification because it does take a little bit for those cards to move potentially. But as far as the flips, we're kind of talking about a lot of the women, they do sell. So like 70 Kerr, she's one where if you pull a big card of her, that's an easy flip. Rhea Ripley, another easy flip. So those are the Tiffany Strattons. Those are the ones that I've noticed right now that I've been able to like list a card on eBay or get a card opener or whatnot, and they're moving pretty quickly.
So follow-up question. Where are you doing your research at? If you just card ladder or using market movers or using something like Gem Rate, what are you just using for like just for the knowledge and the data collection of all this?
Yeah, so I like using Card Ladder. I'm not promoted by them or anything like that, but yeah, I love Card Ladder. Like I'll just type in a name, go to recently sold, or see like increased prices and kind of just look at it there. Market Movers is okay. I used to use it, but some of the data, like some of the card search isn't as easy. So and sometimes like I'll just go on eBay, I'll just like type in a name that I'm looking for, or like right now, like primarily like I'm focused right now, like on Cactus Jack. So I have it a safe search. So like what I like to do is I'll put 2025 Topps Chrome Cactus Jack WWE. I'll save it as a search. So when cards are selling or cards being listed, I get that notification. So it kind of gives me an idea like, okay, like this card's moving. This card just got listed for what price. So yeah, Card Ladder, 130 points, another one that I like to use. But yeah, primarily a lot of my data and like my research is going in primarily onto Card Ladder.
So we're not sponsored by Card Ladder. You know, hopefully one day
No
maybe.
sponsorship.
we started using it weekly. We don't have it this week because I didn't feel like we needed it for this stream, for this portion of the stream. But we use Card Ladder. We've been digging into Gem Rate and I am starting to really like that just to see what's being graded. And then when it comes to WWE, do you think we're going to get to where WWE gets graded massively? Because it's really small amount of WWE that gets graded.
It's really, really small. And I felt evident of that when I got into wrestling cards. Because like we talked about, I came primarily from baseball. And, that's what sports collectors like, right? You get a card, you grade it to 10, boom. Wrestling cards and wrestling fans in general and wrestling collectors, in my opinion, I think right now, they really don't care about the graded cards. Like, for example, in the beginning of the year, like I picked up, I was able to find some really good deals on the John Cena Celebrating Cena Top Chrome short prints from Topps Chrome, the super short prints. I was able to find them at a really good deal. Thought they looked good, graded them as a PSA 10, boom. But those cards, I was sitting on those cards for like forever because they just really didn't move. But it was weird because the raw cards were selling, but not the graded cards. Obviously, grades are going to be worth more than a raw, and now they're PSA 10s, but sometimes some collectors don't want to pay that premium for that. I also had like a Stone Cold graded card at the Allen and Ginter at an 85 at a PSA 10. That took a long time for me to move as well. So I think right now it's very early in the stages. We may see a transition to the graded cards. I think if it's like a super, super rare card, like your one of ones, your autographs, potentially, though, I know we've seen some graded cards for like The Rock and Stone Cold dual autos. Those cards to me deserve grading just because that's a huge card. But yeah, it just honestly just depends on the card. We may get there, but I think it's going to take like a transition for people to recognize that there is some sort of value into graded cards. It's a hit and miss for sure. Obviously, grading is subjective. Obviously, there's now some AI companies that do grading for you, but obviously PSA is the king when it comes to grading, like it or not. And that is, very subjective. It takes a grader who's maybe on a good day, who maybe had a good day waking up or had a good breakfast, had some caffeine in you to give you a PSA 10. And maybe because they can collect on a bad day to give you a PSA 8 or a PSA 9, which a PSA 9 unfortunately results into the price of a raw card, which I don't agree with, but
Don't agree with it at all.
That is just unfortunately where the market is with all sports cards, football, basketball, baseball. It's crazy.
I'm sitting on a Liv Morgan Mojo from Chronicles, the Honors Mojo, out of 25 on a PSA 9, and I will not sell it for less than the price I wanted for it. It's pop one. Like I just don't. I'm not going to sell it for the raw price of $60. That's just not happening. Just it's the only one. I will just save this card. It's Liv freaking Morgan.
Yeah, like I picked up like recently, I guess another pickup as far as who I'm collecting and buying too, maybe for potential food. Like I picked up an AJ Lee blue PSA 9, picked it up for $40. There's like no other sale of it, but like I think that's another card too where like I'm gonna hold on to it, see what she does, see how they promote her. I think she'll be involved in the IC title with Becky Lynch. So yeah, like I think there's a market for them, but I think it's again just takes that specific collector and specific buyer to like value it and things like that. Some people may not value the 9, some people may value the 10. It just depends on who you're dealing with.
It all depends. I just think in WWE the 9s have more value because they're less cards graded. When you're pop 4 and they're all 9s, there are no 10s. You can't say I can't see selling it for $1 or $2 over the raw price. Like there is not one more of this. There's only 25, and there are none higher than this graded anywhere. So like I just can't see. Oh, well, it's not a 10, so I'm not. No, it's a premium because you can chance buying a car for 40, grading it, and getting the same grade I got. Or you can just buy what I have here now and be happy.
Exactly.
Like Tiffany Stratton, rookie Prism, grade horribly.
Yeah.
They grade Obi Femi Topps Chrome grades horribly. We went through it 2 weeks ago, I think, and just look at like these sets don't 10 out. These WWE sets don't 10 out well, especially the newer sets, especially with the newer guidelines. They don't 10 often. We're talking about 18% gem rate on select.
Yeah, Topps Chrome. I'll dive into like the pop reports and see what's being graded, what's not being graded, and what's got in the 9s and the 10s. And yeah, Topps Chrome was bad for WWE. That's why when I got the PSA 10s for the Cenas and for the Austin, I was like, oh damn, like okay, like my grader woke up on the right side of the bed today and decided to hand me the 10s. I was like, all right, I'm not complaining, I'll take them. I think one of my Cenas had like a little tiny mark. When I'm grading, I'm very picky on everything that I'm looking at. Like one little smidgen, if I want to risk it, I'll risk it. Obviously it comes at a price, and now I think there's even price increases now, so maybe that may change down the line. But yeah, like I think one of my Cena's cards had like the tiny surface dimple on it. I was like, that's something I'm willing to take a gamble on. And sure enough, they gave me the 10. But I know if it was somebody else, like that dimple's a PSA 8. So yeah, it just honestly just depends.
It's all subjective. Do you prep your cards? Are you wiping them down?
I do everything all myself. Circling back to everything that I do, I'm all by myself. I did one submission with GameStop. It was okay. I just did it for like content, for a video purpose. But yeah, all my other PSA, SGC submissions, it's all me. So I prep them myself. I have like my light here. I have my magnifying glass here. Everything's here on my end. So I prep them, ship them myself, because like I like to think like if I'm sending a card and it gets a 9, like that's my fault, or like I missed something. If I trust somebody to handle my card and they get a 9, I'm like, okay, like potentially, like, what did you do, or like what did you miss, or something like that. So for me, like it all falls back on me. So I do everything all myself again.
I'm sending my stuff through GameStop right now because I'm only sending like 3 or 4 cards in it, so I'm not overly worried about what I look over. But the last round, all 3 cards got a PSA 9, and I'm just like, what did I miss, or what did y'all do? Because I think it's just
my GameStop submission was wild. So I submitted it to them, and it didn't move. And I'm like, okay, like, well, what are they doing? Luckily, I trust my GameStop store. I know the manager. We talk. Obviously, GameStop now has grown into like another version of a hobby store. So there's a lot of cards. So he was kind of, we were picking each other's brains with that. But like my cards are sitting there in a cabinet for like a week and a half. I'm like, that's insane. And like it kind of just brings back the worry of like, okay, like what are you doing with my cards? Are people opening these cards, these cabinets, and handling in and out, and moving them? You know, debris can get in there. Obviously, PSA doesn't clean your card for you, so if there's a card in there that has a debris on it, like that's a defect on their end, or can mark it down. So yeah,
So
my PSA submission was crazy.
I used to work for GameStop. I was a district manager for the GameStop for years, so I am a little more confident in my step off because I know who I can talk to if something goes wrong. But I also ask them like, when did it go out? When did y'all ship it out? And they're like, well, we have to ship it out by Monday. If we get certain amount, we got to ship it out by Monday. If not, it's the next Monday. So usually when I'm dropping off on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just so I don't want to be dropping off on a Tuesday and then it's not going back out the next Monday. For that reason, it's going to sit in the drawer. They got to put games in. They got to make rooms. Like I know the day-to-day is for an associate. So if they basically put it in what we used to call a reserve drawer. That's where the reserve games used to go. And so if I got to move and put new things on there, more chances you got to move the cards or unwrap them, stuff like that. So I have a good, like, I know when my mine ship out. So usually if I go on a Friday, Saturday, that Monday, by Tuesday, I'm getting the notification they've been shipped. And the bad part about it is PSA doesn't give you updates through the process when they get shipped, though.
Yeah.
For real. You just they got there, they didn't get there. Then they're graded. Yeah. And then the next day they call you and say, come pick them up.
That's exactly the way my experience was. They sat there for about a week. They gave me like some like employee. Like I think there's only like one personnel or like one employee that can handle the actual PSA if they're trained. So he was supposed to be like out for like a week or something. So like my card just sat there. And then like once they got to PSA, it did move. But yeah, it was just the fact that them just sitting there and kind of like you mentioned, it's a reserve drawer. So they're opening in and out. So anything can happen with those cards. Again, luckily enough, I knew the manager. I trusted them and things like that. So I think if you're going to a random GameStop you don't know, potentially there's a little concern. But I talked about it in my video that I made a couple months ago when I did that. I was like, as long as you trust your store, you know who you're working with, I think you'll be in a good spot with that.
Well, thank you for having me coming on tonight. Let everybody know where they can catch your content at, where they can see you and when you put your stuff out.
Yeah.
Put the link
so
to you in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. I saw that earlier. Appreciate that. So yeah, again, you can find all my content over at Moon3PO. Again, like we were talking about earlier, I am everywhere that you can think of. I am on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube is all under Moon3PO. Like I mentioned here, we do me and my brother, we do a card collecting wrestling card collecting podcast. We call it Collecting the 1, 2, 3. You can find that again on YouTube at under Moon3PO. You can also find it on Spotify and Apple. Typically, we don't have a set schedule with that. We kind of roll with the flow with the PLEs. We will have an episode out on Friday previewing Top's Finest WWE. So if you want the ins and out of that set, what to look for, who's coming out, who's to buy, who's to sell, who to buy in breaks. We'll have that all broken down on the episode of Friday. That'll be out at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if that does interest you, go check out Collecting the 1, 2, 3 podcast. Again, you can find that everywhere. And then again, Moon3PO, everywhere where you think social media and content is made, I'm there.
I'll check it out. We didn't get the chance to go through the Top's Finest checklist today, but I'll be hitting you up. If you got any questions for me, I guess.
No, I just want to say thank you for being here. It's been great to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys. Appreciate the invite as well. Anytime you guys want me on or want to talk wrestling, I'm free as free as I can be. So feel free to shoot me a message, and I'll be happy to join anytime.
Thank you.
All right, we'll do. Thank you. Hey,
Alrighty,
everybody
guys.
in the chat, Hero, we see your question. Yeah, see ya. Hero, we see your question. We wasn't ignoring it. We're going to come back with another podcast and do our regular thing in a moment. So just give us a couple moments to come back in, and we'll go into sports. We got a lot of NFL, NBA talk about. We got a slim down Zion Williamson. We got Derrick Henry fumbling and costing me in fantasy. So
there's a lot going on. There's another link out there. Click that next link. I'm gonna take a couple swigs of water here, and then we're ready.
Yeah. And then we'll get ready.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Keep rolling, people. Click the other link.